ist eine Ausstellung, eine Dialogausstellung von Kinke Kooi und Hendrickje Schimmel, welche unter dem Synonym Tenant of Culture arbeitet. Und beide Arbeiten haben in einer Art und Weise, auf vielen Arten und Weisen was gemeinsam, unter anderem aber auch, weil sie beide verwandt sind als Mutter und Tochter. Und es ist insofern die erste wirkliche Zwei-Personen-Ausstellung, Dialogausstellung ist, die beiden machen.
Well, it was Christian's idea.
Yeah.
Because he came for a studio visit with me in London, and then I told him about your work for some reason, and you already knew her, so it was his idea to exhibit us together, which we were very open for. Yeah.
You know, normally people think you should be objective and don't be involved just with your family too much. And I think our work, we share that, I guess, is very much about entanglement, and especially I better can speak for myself, but it's about hospitality and interruption. So things go in and things go out, and my aim is how does it feel when things go in? And I think it's a very philosophical understanding to be hospitable. And yeah, I like to make images about it because you don't see much images. It's mostly about distinction and not about intimacy. So for us it was perfect.
Not consciously, I think I've seen that for the first time in this exhibition, that there's actually similarities of a very detailed surface and a very worked through and wiped out and worked on again kind of surface, and with you that's in drawings, that you see the intricacy of all the pen lines, but also there's remains of some other lines underneath, and color and everything, and it's sort of layered up of details. And then I guess in my work that's more with stitch and textiles, that also piles up on one surface, and it's not necessarily about the big gesture, it's really about the details and going on and on and on one surface. So I think the same method of working is present, but a different material.
Yeah. When I was young, I had to paint with the big gesture, and for the big gesture you need to take distance, and it made me very insecure. So I decided to get very close up my drawing, and then I realized that my true sympathy for shapes is mostly about intimacy, because if you have jewelry, you say to somebody, "Oh, you look so beautiful," and you're really close by. So, and drawing, you sit very close on your drawing, and you don't take distance, which also takes away the critical perspective. So you lose perspective, and I like that point of view.
Yeah, I think I always depart from kind of a prevalent aesthetic in contemporary fashion. So I look at trends, and but I'm quite interested in the where a trend comes from. So for example, it's political and social history, and which garments go with that, which materials are they made of, and then I kind of deconstruct them analytically, and that becomes my material. So every material and every object that I use for me relates to a certain trend that I'm investigating at the time. So yeah. Functions like trend does, it's different every season, so the aesthetic changes every season. I think people behave very differently around garments than they do around, say, sculpture, because in the space, I read it somewhere, but it was in the V&A test with sound measurements, and in the art exhibitions it was very quiet, and in all the fashion exhibitions people felt really free to speak out loud. So I think because everyone has an intimate relationship with a garment that they don't have with an object that they don't necessarily see a function for straight away. So I really like that that everyone, no matter where you're from or who you are, has a relationship with clothes. So that's a different language of object.